interactive presentation. You do not need your laptop, but you will need a piece of paper and a pen. You're going to be taking lots of notes. We're going to be talking as a group. We're going to be learning from each other. My name is Rachel Coulomb. Welcome to Burnout, Resiliency, and Work-Life Balance. I'm thrilled to be here today, but I'm more excited for you. You don't probably do much for yourself often, right? These conferences and things don't happen every day, so I'm excited for you and everything that you're going to learn today and over the next few days to take home with you. We are going to be talking about burnout, the signs, the causes, the sneakiness that is burnout that creeps up on us and why it creeps up on us. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about resilience, how we navigate through, and we're going to be getting into the tactics of what we do to build resilient strategies, to change the way that we're showing up and we're handling situations. And in the end, we're going to wrap it up with a little work-life balance, real life balance, how we navigate all those pieces of our life, some accountability, and then you're out of here. Sound good? Are we ready to do this? All right, let's do this. Show of hands. Keep your hands up. Where are my perfectionists? Keep your hands up, perfectionists. I know you will because you're perfectionists. Where are my people pleasers? Hands up. All right. Who here puts everyone else in front of them, does everything for them before they do this stuff? All right, well, then we're all in the right spot this afternoon. Welcome. We're going to have a good time. This is a little different than a standard, you need to take your time off. And you really need to turn your phone off. No. We're going to be digging today. We're going to be digging why we do the things that we do so that we can make fundamental changes to the way that we're approaching our life so that we're not experiencing burnout. We're able to manage resiliency better. We're showing up better mental, emotional health. Raise your hand if you were like, when you took your job, you know what? In a year, I want to be burnt out. Yes. I want to be working on the weekends and nights, and I want to have long to-do lists. Anyone? That was your goal? Right. No one sets out to do it. No one's like, yes, please, bring it on. We slowly, over time, we make decisions, and we do things, and it leads us down the path of burnout. According to the World Health Organization, there are 3 types of burnout. This concept came out of the idea of chronic workplace stress, but I would argue life is just stressful, right? Life. There's a lot going on in general. And there's 3 types. The first type, overwork, working at a pace that is just too fast, too much, no breaks, a speed where we cannot keep up. The second one is underwork. Anyone experiencing that? Laughter. No. Right, no. Not enough work. I'm bored. I'm not motivated. It's not challenging to me. So we go down a path of not feeling motivated, burnout. We don't want to be there. And the third one is neglect. Not feeling a sense of purpose in the work that we're doing. So those are the 3 types of burnout. And there's all sorts of causes of burnout, but I want to talk about administrative professionals specifically, because I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, you deal with things that a lot of other people don't necessarily have to deal with in your role. Constantly multitasking. Different priorities, agendas, changing directions, things are going constant. Lack of autonomy. You might have some power, but you're not the final decision maker in a lot of things, and you're waiting around just like other people for things to happen. You bear the emotional labor of your organizations. People are going to come to you and talk to you about what's going on. They're not necessarily going to go to the boss. Is this ringing true? You have to be detailed-oriented constantly. There's not a lot of room for messing up and errors and getting things wrong constantly. You have a lot going on. And you also have to keep things confidential, which means you can't always talk to people about what's going on, I'm seeing some nodding. You're so good at your job, they don't want you to leave your role. You get stuck in positions for years because you were so good. So that opportunity for advancement doesn't happen. Ringing true. Things that you uniquely happen in the roles that you play within your organization. And we often overlook the signs of burnout, and you can nod along if this is you as well. Maybe I got a little tension in my neck. Maybe it's my chair. Maybe it's just a bad chair. I'm just going to take 2 Advil or more and just call it a day. Maybe it'll get better in a few weeks. I'm not, you know what, it'll be fine. Like, nothing to worry about. Everyone's got to work. Like, this is just a thing. We push away these little, maybe I'm not feeling motivated as much. I'm not feeling that motivation. Maybe I'm cranky with people at work. And we don't put all that together and think, oh, this is burnout that I'm experiencing. We're tired, even though we got 9 hours of sleep. Or there's people here who don't sleep, right? 2 a.m. Bing. Right? So I'm not getting enough sleep, or I'm not feeling good, I'm not feeling motivated, I'm feeling disconnected, there's a lot going on. All these things contribute to burnout and what's happening. And we often overlook these signs and we push them away as just, it's a bad chair, just having a day, just the way it is. And we don't start to put those pieces together to realize where we are. I call these errors of innocence. Martha Beck coined this term, errors of innocence. When we were young, we took on a lot of information about the way the world works. Jobs, careers, money, relationships, health, you name it. And we process that information with a 7 or 8-year-old brain. And I'm going to share an example with you. How many of you growing up, you were not allowed to go out and play until your homework was done? You definitely could not have friends over unless the house was cleaned. When you're a child and must of their parents, it's teaching responsibility. But that sneaky little thing that was going on then, when we turn into adults, I cannot relax, have fun, do what I want to do until the work is done. It's how sneaky it is. Maybe we grew up in a household where jobs were just, maybe their job stability wasn't there. So I overdo it, and I'm overly worried about my job and what's going on, and I'm going to get fired, all these things. And those belief systems, those sneaky little belief systems that are underneath the surface, that no matter how great our organizations might be, unless we fundamentally change the way we think about our beliefs and the stories and the rules and what I'm worthy of and what I'm capable of and what I deserve, we will constantly repeat the cycle of burnout over and over and over again. It's sneaky. This is your first exercise. Your first exercise is your burnout signs. What signs have you been experiencing lately that are having you feel like you're burnt out? What signs for you? And then I want you to answer the question, what beliefs might be contributing to that? She's like, all of them. Check. Just, yes, down, the whole thing.
Exception of increased sick days because we can't.
I don't have any sick. That's a good point. What's coming up for you? What's going up? And are there specific factors or situations that are happening? It's the constant one last thing, one more thing. That's just, you keep pushing the goalpost down, keep doing more and more. So tell me, what have you been ignoring? This is the interactive part. Let's hear from everybody. What have you been ignoring? Because when we share, we give other people permission to share. It creates a space of learning. What have you been ignoring? Myself. Where am I the myselves? A lot. Look around. A lot. Ignoring myself. We're going to talk about that a lot. What else have you been ignoring? Family. Family, right? One more email, one more thing. I'm present. I'm physically sitting in the same room with them, but maybe I'm not actually there. What else? Personal time. Not taking personal time, right? Not taking that, but maybe I'll just take a long weekend instead of 5 full days. Something like that, very good. Who else is the personal time? Who's not taking their personal time? A lot. What else? Ignoring our health, right? That self-care piece. So there's a lot of signs, a lot of things happening, and it can be sneaky. It can be sneaky because it creeps up on you, and individually it might not feel like a big thing, but when you start to put them all together, like, I am burnt out. Who here is feeling burnt out? Everybody. Even with the best intentions within organizations, wellness weeks, telling you need to take your time off, doing well with work-life balance, even the best, we're not going to email you after 5. Yeah. Even with the best intentions, if we don't change fundamentally what we're doing when we're showing up, nothing's ever going to change. Nothing's ever going to change. So what I want you to take away from burnout is recognize the causes, the sneaky things, the belief systems, those errors of innocence that might be coming up for you, what I'm worthy of, what I'm capable of, what I'm allowed to do, what I'm worth, recognizing the signs, being mindful of beliefs that are not helping us, and being proactive. And we're going to move into that proactive space because we are now going to talk about resilience, how we navigate away from burnout, and now we're approaching our life with tools and resources and a belt of things that we can do differently to protect our stress, protect our mental and emotional health. We're going to be getting into the work. While we're here for the next few days, everything's great, right? I'm learning a lot of good tips, a lot of good things, taking notes. But I'm going to go back to my room at the end of I'm going to pack my bag. I'm going to stuff all those notes in the bottom of my suitcase, not to be seen for another 3 to 4 months when I repack my suitcase. Your brain, your negotiator, is going to tell you, I'm telling you right now, and you know it too, it's going to tell you don't need to do it. It's not going to work. That's not for me. That's for other people. Your brain is going to try to convince you that everything that you were learning over the next few days is not worth it. It wants you to stay in your comfort zone because it is a predictability machine. Predictability machine, and that's why we sabotage ourselves over and over and over again. So we're going to talk about resilience building strategies, but I also want you to remember, because this is going to happen, you're going to think about me, and when your brain's like, don't do it, it's not going to work, you're going to have to be resilient against that as well. Pushing back against the invisible forces that affect our abilities and our decision making. Resilient individuals tend to demonstrate adaptability. They see situations, those setbacks, the things that are happening to them, all the experiences that we have that aren't wonderful, our need to be adaptable and overcome that resilient space. They see it as an opportunity for learning and growth. They have good social support. They take care of themselves. People who are resilient practice self-care, mental, physical, emotional. They take care of themselves. Who here puts everyone else first? And what's the first thing to go when life gets busy? You. They seek help. They set up support systems and structures. They take care of themselves. I was doing everything but that at the end of 2020. I got the phone call. We've decided to go a different direction. You're no longer needed. After years of success and excellent reviews, great work, big product launches, it was over and done. And that was just the icing on the cake to all the other stuff that had been going on, big personal loss, family things that have been going on. It was icing on the cake. And I'm sure if I sat and spoke with each and every one of you, you would have similar stories of where you have had to really, really pull it together and show up and take a step forward into the unknown. Would you agree? We've all been there. And we don't want to burn out. And we know for a fact we're going to go there again. Things are going to happen again. And instead, we want to say, I was waiting for you. I knew you were going to show up, right? Come back from a space of knowing and strength. So when I was in that space, I came across this poem, and the QR code is on the screen if you want to get it, by Marianne Williamson, and the first 2 lines just struck me. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And in those moments, I wasn't feeling powerful beyond measure, but this is my version of a vision board, and I'm like, yes, ma'am. And I put up these magical pink sticky notes, and every decision I made was going to be in a direction that took me closer to what I wanted. And every single one of those pink sticky notes has happened. And it didn't happen overnight. And we're going to talk about your magical pink sticky notes. Imagine yourself, what day are we leaving? Thursday? You're leaving Vegas. You got your first class seat on this airplane. Couple giggles. It's all right. We're just imagining. Even I don't sit first class. Feet up, drink a choice by your side, snack. You got your snack, feeling really good. You got your headphones on, you're not on your computer, you're not working, you are watching a new movie that's out that you haven't seen yet, listening to your favorite music, you're just like, I am going home. And let's all pretend home is Orlando. You're going home, and the captain decides he's just gonna shift the plane 1 degree every 5 minutes. Would you feel it? But at 36,000 feet, going 400 miles an hour in a 737 Boeing jet, because I did the math, you would not end up in Orlando. You would end up in Miami. The point being that small 1 degree decisions over time have massive impact. Small, I'm not talking wholesale changes, small 1 degree decisions. That's all it takes. Because I want you to be able to change the lens for which you're viewing yourself and the world. And we're going to get into 4 resilience building tactics that you can start to implement to build your resilience so that you're showing up healthy, adaptable, willing to learn, and not getting stressed out and crazy when things happen. We're going to start with our core values. I'm not talking about our values around our work or values around our health. Your core values are table stakes for resilience. This is the foundation of resilience. Your core values. This is going to be how you make decisions. This is how you're going to navigate stress. This is how you're going to do what you need to do is in alignment with your core values. And a few years ago, I was in a development session, and the facilitator laid out 100 core values cards, and these are the exact cards, and they told us to pick 5. If you had asked me that many years ago what core values had to do with work, I would say absolutely nothing. You get up, you go to work, you do your job, you go home, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, and my core values are over here. Your core values have everything to do with your life and your work. So I stood around that table and I looked at all the cards and I just picked up 5. Good 5, solid 5, the fit-in 5, the ones that make me a good person, like trust and honesty and commitment, right? The ones you want to see. But they meant nothing to me. Nothing to me at a core value space. And then a light bulb went off in my head and said, well, don't you want to know what your core values are? And I was like, yeah, I kind of do want to know. who I really am. So I took my 100 cards home, and that night I sat in my living room and I started creating piles. My top 5, 10 pile, my top 20, 30 pile, my I'm indifferent to it pile, and I picked up those cards and I felt something. I was like, this feels right. Feels right. And then I proceeded to have a mini existential crisis. Like, what does this mean about me? Is this not going to make me a good leader? Like, am I doing the wrong job? Because I had cards like nature and solitude, and I was like, am I going to have to join the Forest Service? Like, where am I going with this? That one exercise fundamentally changed how I approach my life and my work and the decisions I make. And you, right now, are going to start picking your 5 core values. I want you to take a minute, look at the values, and write down 5 that means we're not going to share these with each other. You don't have to pick ones that make you feel like you need to fit in. Just your 5. Unfortunately, I can't make it bigger, but if you want to stand up or zoom in, if you can get them, they're on the app. If you're able to download them. Question. This is definitely not an exhaustive list. That's where the other is. If you have something other, thank you for bringing that up. I'm sure other people thought that. You can only fit so much on a 8.5 by 11. 10 more seconds. All right. Did any values on that list surprise you that you didn't even know were values? Oh, some nods. All right, let's talk about them. Which ones do we not know? Do we not think about? Yeah. Imagination, creativity, getting to do that. Are you an imaginative, creative person? You like it? Feels good? I like that. Good. Imagination, creativity. What else? Beauty. What I love about core values, too, is it's whatever it means to you. There is no one standard of imagination is this one thing. Beauty is just this one thing. It's what it is to you. Thank you. What else? Solitude. Did I say solitude? Who's going with me to join the park service? Yes. Solitude. And solitude, so for me, how am I incorporating solitude in my day-to-day? It's not my chill out on the couch when everyone's asleep time. It's my time to myself, to think, to create self-awareness, to study, to learn, to practice. That's the me time. Yes, and how am I incorporating that? What else came up that you didn't know was a value? Abundance. You like it? Top 5? I love it. Abundance is a wonderful value. Because how many of us grew up with just the normal, right? Family, your faith, you're this, you're that. Like, that's sort of what we're given, and we take that with us into adulthood, and we don't realize maybe that's changed a little bit. Or maybe we're in a time in our life where our values are shifting because they shift. They shift over time, which means you need to shift with them, right? Making decisions in line with the values where you are. Love that. Let's get 1 or 2 more. Adventure. You're my adventurer, huh? You like to go and do and explore. Is that your adventure? Love that. Wonderful. Let's get another one. Joy. Someone said joy in the first session too. So joy, happiness. Were you surprised by some of the values you picked? This is, like I said, this is table stakes to building our resilience, because the decisions you make are going to be in alignment with the values that you hold, where you're spending your time, the people that you're with. It's not necessarily going to change your job wholesale and you're quitting tomorrow. That's not it. But what I'm doing differently, because that helps us manage our stress, our mental and emotional health. The second resilience building is health. I'm seeing a lot of nods. Who here brought workout clothes? Who here hasn't quite made it to the gym yet? Yeah, okay. It's no time. It's a good idea, right? I don't need to tell any of you that you need to take care of your health. You need to eat right, get some sleep. Like, you know that. Like, you know it, but we're not doing it, right? We're not doing it. And if we're going to build resilience, we need to take care of our health. Who feels at their best when they're not eating right, haven't exercised, you're exhausted, your back hurts? Like, who's feeling up for it? We're not. We're not. I could never be a hostess in a restaurant, because standing between hungry people and food and no, never, right? Like, our health matters, because you and everyone around you wins when you are showing up in the fullness of who you are and you are taking care of you. They all win. And we know these setbacks are coming. We know we're going to need to be adaptable. We know these things are coming, and it's us needing to show up for ourselves. This is number 2. So what's a small shift you can make? What's a good 1-degree shift that you're thinking about? We all going to the gym tomorrow morning? I'm going to see you all down there. Treadmills are going to get tight. What's a 1-degree shift? What's a good 1-degree shift? Anybody? Diet. Tell me more specifically. Yeah, better foods. It doesn't have to be every single meal, right? One meal. Maybe snack today. After this, snack. Just going to make a different choice for this one thing. 1 small degree shift. Love that. What else? Taking deep breaths. It doesn't take much time to just be like, right? In for 4, hold for 2, out for 6. Incredibly calming for our brain, our nervous systems. Yes, taking deep breaths. What's another good one to do? Yeah. Oh, it's here first. I want you to go first, and I'll go back to you in the yellow second.
One thing that I have done is actually start telling myself my own, what is the word, like
Affirmations.
affirmations.
I love affirmations. Yes.
About 5 minutes and just 3 affirmations and just keep going. It helps me a lot.
That's fabulous. Affirmations are incredibly powerful, because how often our brains are telling us all sorts of things about ourselves, right? We have to shift those belief systems, those underlying sneaky belief systems that are down there that affect us. So affirmations, and some people are like, I just don't want to stand in a mirror. I love me. Like, it feels awkward. Do what feels good for you. Do what feels good for you. Please, back there. Drink more water. Have a glass of water. I love it. Next one. Yes, you're right here.
Okay, brain dumps and journaling.
Brain dumps and journaling. Do we have people who journal here, who like to journal? Where are my people who like the idea of journaling? Yeah, I know you people. We are the same people. I love the idea. But journaling, especially when you have to keep it together and be nice to everyone all day long, or if you have a space to let it out, to let it go, to give it away, fabulous. It's 2 more ideas. It's kind of quiet over here. What's going on over here? Come on. What else? Give me another idea. Oh, in the back over there. Yes. Take a break. Just take a break. Just give yourself a moment. How often we don't even give ourselves a moment. We just go and go and go and go and go. No wonder we're going to burn out. One more from the group. Yes. Go to sleep. Sleep. We'll get another one back there. Sleep. How often? And we're like, I am staying up. I've had no time to myself all day today. I am just going to zone out here, and it's like midnight. because it feels like it's the only time of day we have, because all the decisions and the things that we're doing are helping and benefiting everyone, and we're not reclaiming our power and control from the visible and invisible forces that take it away from us. Last one, there was one more. Yes?
When they're scrolling, like put down your screens.
Put down your screen. Just do that, right? But we have trained our brain out of habit to need that stimulation, right? That we just, out of habit, how often we just pick up our phone and start scrolling? How many of you have already checked out right now? I see a few. No, I'm just kidding. Right? It's just habit, what we do. So put down our screens. Small 1-degree shifts around our health have massive impact in our ability to build resilience and show up. The third resilience building strategy is control what you can control. And altogether, what can we control? Ourselves. We know it, but how often we give away our power and control to other people, and then we try to control people that we have no control over, and we get stuck. How we just let go. Let them just be what they're going to be, do what they're going to do. It can feel really hard. Who here loves a little power and control? Who likes to, where are my people? Who's not going to raise their hand no matter what I ask? Sure, all right, thank you. No, we do. We really do want power and control. And one of the triggers when we get upset is our lack of power and control. We talk about deadlines not being met and people not respecting boundaries, and we can have conversations about it, but it's truly a need around power and control that's really going on down underneath the surface. So control what you can control. Our next exercise is going to be in self-regulation and resilience. What do you need to be doing? What do you need to be doing? Yes.
The attachment that's on your session, is that on the
Yeah, the attachment of the session is all in there. And if you can't get it, I know some people's firewalls are having issues. Come to me, we'll get it to you. About 10 more seconds. So I want to talk about self-regulation, and it is not in the slide deck, but this will fundamentally change the way that you show up and you interact with people. I wish I had learned this a long time ago. This is going to help you navigate conflict. It's going to help you create self-awareness, help us take our ego out of situations that are triggering for us. There are 3 underlying needs that we all have. 3. So while it might be an argument about dishes in the sink, socks on the floor, deadlines that are being missed, people who are late, there's 3 underlying needs. It's our need for power and control. That's the first one. Power and control. I might feel out of control. I feel like I have no power. They did something. It's triggering for me. And in self-regulation, realizing that's my need for power and control. The second one is respect and recognition. This is being seen. This is being heard. When you start to feel your temperature boiling, it could be the feeling of needing respect and recognition. And the last one is care and closeness. That is connection. That is connection. Has anyone ever been stuck in the same argument cycle over and over and over, right? It's because we argue about what's going on up here and we are not navigating the needs down below. And this is about you reclaiming your power and control. This is about you seeing yourself, respecting yourself, recognizing the value in what you do, you seeing and hearing yourself. This is about you finding connection to yourself. We make it about other people, but it's about us. And this is extremely helpful in our relationships, especially workplace relationships, because we know when we deal with people who are upset and triggered, it's one of those three things, which helps us take our ego out of it and has us asking better questions to better solve the need. And everyone's heard of love languages, right? Have you heard of conflict languages? Here's the 4 conflict languages. Number 1 is criticism. Criticism, going at the core of who you are. The second one is contempt. Contempt. The third one is defensiveness. And the fourth one is stonewalling, demonstrating separation. Not, I'm going to walk away for 5 minutes to compose myself, but I want you to know that I am mad. And I tell these to you because when we talk about resilience, it's about self-awareness, seeing ourselves in these situations. Please do not go home and be like, you're being defensive. I learned, like, don't do that. That does not, that does not work. My name is not Rachel. That does not work. It's about recognizing it in ourselves first. Because if we want to build resilience, we have to see ourselves first so we can work through those needs. The fourth resilience building strategy is boundaries. Where are my good boundary makers and keepers? Few. Just a few. It's where you end and I begin, right? It's me telling you how you can treat me, where my limits are to certain things, holding boundaries. But who here finds it hard to say no? And slowly, over time, we stop saying no, just yes to this one more thing. Just one more, yes to one more thing. We push the goalpost, we move our boundaries, and then we find out we're stressed, we feel burnout, overworked, unmotivated. But I moved my own boundary, creating boundaries. Do we like them? They feel good, or they're like, where's my, I like the idea of them, but I'm not really sure. Boundaries have this feeling about them sometimes. We're not really sure how to put them in place and keep them and make sure people are doing the things that I set this boundary and you need to do that thing. It's really about how we're going to react in those situations, what we're willing to tolerate and limit. Resilience, people who are resilient are able to handle conflict. They're able to handle conflict. And when you put boundaries in place, when there is conflict, you're better able to navigate through those conflict conversations because you had a boundary in place. People who are resilient know how to say no. They put boundaries in place around their time, who they're with, what they're doing, the goals they're setting. They know how to say no. And they also, people that know how to take care of themselves. You're seeing a theme here, right, about self-care? They know how to take it. They put boundaries around their time, their space to take care of themselves, building resilience. Boundaries and resilience, there is about 100 more connections between the two of those, but I think for this group, 3, this is good, right? How do we navigate? How do we learn to say no? We want to take care of ourselves. If you want to create successful boundaries, my recommendation is you start small. You start small. Pick one thing that you want to do. Because part of boundaries is holding true to yourself. Because that's how you build trust with yourself when you hold boundaries. When you do the thing that you were saying that you were going to do, you build trust and connection and belief in yourself, which makes these things much easier to handle. Can we go back here? Tell me a little bit about boundaries. I want to hear a little bit from you about boundaries. What's a good boundary you want to put in place right now? 1 degree shift.
I have more like a question.
Please.
than a comment.
Yeah.
How do you set the boundaries without seeming rude? Coming from the people
People pleaser, right?
pleaser,
Oh, it's right, the
you know,
worst.
yes, that's me, like the people pleaser. Even though I'm like moving out of it,
Yeah.
it still feels awkward, you know?
Yeah, it can feel awkward. Yes, it feels like it. Who feels like it feels rude to put up a boundary? Oh, you got your people. Yeah, lots of people. It feels rude. Polite but firm. But also, let's talk about those belief systems underneath that are telling me that it's rude to set a boundary. Where did that come from? Who told you that it was rude to set a boundary? Right? So it's the underlying belief system, and then what's the new belief that's more helpful for me? What's a better belief for me? So instead of thinking it's rude, what would be a new one that's better?
Self-care.
I'm taking care of myself. Taking care of myself so I can show up better for you. Is that helpful? Great. Those belief systems, they're sneaky. That's why I told you. It's not just taking your PTO and turning off your phone. You will continue to sabotage yourself over and over and over again. Wonderful. Anyone else have any other questions? Yes. It's really going to be about the consequences now, right? I'm going back to this boundary. This is a boundary. This is important to me. And it's going to become about the consequences and how I react and what I'm going to do and the choices I'm going to make when that thing happens. And inevitably, something is going to happen. But you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming, right? So we're prepared for it. We just put it back in place. Don't make it any more difficult than it is. I'm just going to put it back in place and I'm going to stick to it. Yes. Yes, you in the back.
About setting boundaries, if you're setting boundaries that I have at work, that I'm going to be perceived as not capable.
Not capable. So there's a belief system. Who said I wasn't capable? Where did that come from? Have I ever proven myself to be incapable? And I love that you said that because I know there's at least half of the people in here have the exact same thing. It's a belief system that we have to root and change and create a new belief on top of it that is more empowering, that heads us in the right direction. Does that help, Phil? Okay. Yes. 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 I have to so she's saying no is a complete sentence. No, period, exclamation point, whatever, multiple exclamation points, whatever it is. It's a complete sentence, right? But we feel the need to have to explain or justify. Who explains or justifies? Because growing up, and our childhoods are our childhoods, there was probably a space or a place where you did have to justify your actions. And you were held account for it. And so you take that with us, thinking that we still need to justify our actions. And there are people in our lives that try to make us justify our actions. That's a whole other class. But that's a belief system, right? That I need to justify myself, that I need to do enough to earn the thing that I am asking for, to say no. It's a belief system. Yes?
So I'm 45 years old, and we started, the reason I bring that up is because, at least for me, when I started work, it was like, you don't take sick days unless you're missing.
Yeah. Bleeding. Yeah.
Take sick days. You don't leave the house. God forbid someone see you at the grocery store.
Yes.
You're supposed to be taking a sick day. You always say yes.
Yeah.
There was no boundaries when I was growing up in the workforce. It was like, yes sir, yes sir, yes ma'am, whatever.
Yep.
But now I work at the university, and some of my colleagues are 10, 15 years younger than me. And I'm learning for them to be like, no,
Yeah.
I am going to take a sick day.
Yes. I love that.
But it's so, you have to alter your thinking because we've been raised to, do this, to not do certain things. And now it's like, oh, it's free. It's like, I'm going to take a sick day, and actually, you don't have the right to ask me why.
Yeah.
I'm taking a sick
I'm taking a sick day.
or whatever it may be at that time,
Yes.
But it's taking a real, it's been a good thing to help set these, set these boundaries, and it's free, but it's also terrifying.
That's why we talk about 1 degree shifts. And I'm just saying, just for people who didn't hear, she talked about, taking time off. She grew up in a time and space where you worked, you went to work, you don't take time off, you sit at your desk, you're seen, you're productive, like you're doing the thing. And the new generation coming up has a different, view of what that is. Combined with, I would go back to eras of innocence. We just grew up that this was just a certain way that we did it. This is the way it is. And it may or may not be helping us. So it's good that you're making those 1-degree shifts, small shifts in the right direction. Not wholesale taking 5 weeks of vacation and I'm out of here, just small shifts, little things that we can do that can help us. Yes?
How do you handle boundaries with a micromanager?
Please say that one more time.
How do you handle boundaries with a micromanager?
So let's talk about what we just talked about. Boundaries with like a bad girl manager. Is that what it was called? Micromanager. I was like, bad girl, I haven't heard that term. I'm going to go look it up. I was acting like I knew, but I didn't no idea. Okay. So this is where we can take our ego out of it. Let's go back to what we just talked about, the 3 needs. If you have a micromanager, which need do you think they're trying to fulfill through you? Possibly power and control, right? They have their own belief system, their own shark under the water that's telling them what their value is, what their worth is, what they need to do, which makes them hyper-focused, right? Because they have concerns and worries and fears as well. So it helps us to take our ego out of it and be like, that's what she's looking for. So give power and control where you can. How can I be proactive? How can I do things to support them getting what they need, at least as much as I can do? But they got to work on themselves, just like we're all working on ourselves. Just to take our ego out of it, just a little bit. To look at it for what it is. Because micromanaging is a symptom of insecurity, fear, self-doubt, worry. There is a lot going on under the surface. A lot going on. But it comes across as like, leave me alone. Yeah, great questions. And we'll have more time for more. Key takeaways from resilience. Get those values in line. Table stakes. This is it. Everything is built on this and building resilience. When I'm aligned to my values, when I'm making choices and decisions that are aligned with my values, I feel purpose. I don't feel as stressed. I'm able to say no. Prioritize ourselves. We know that. Setting boundaries with people. Some of those belief systems are affecting our ability to set boundaries. And 1-degree shifts, small shifts in the right direction can have a massive impact in how we're showing up. Now we're going to talk a little bit about work-life balance, which really I just call life. Work-life bothers me. It's just life. It's just life. And work is a part of it. Sometimes it's a big part of it, sometimes it's not a big part of it, but it's part of life. And everyone's version of work-life balance, I'm just going to say, is unique to you. There is no one-size-fits-all. Here's the 3 things that you need to do. None of that. It's all what's important and matters to you. The importance, though, is balance. Did anyone set out to get into work to feel like you're totally out of balance, to like avoid your kids and you're not around and you're like spending all your time at work? Was everyone's like, yeah, let's do that. Let's do some healthy living. No one does. But over time, we make decisions that affect our work-life balance, and it's time to take our power and control back from the invisible forces that we've given it away to. I want you to think about life balance like a house. This is your house. This is your house. And you get to decide what's in the rooms of the house. And the living room, if that's the biggest room in your house, it might be work right now. It might be aging parents right now. It might be children or teenagers right now. It could be a variety of things. But if you only have work in your life and you lose work, what happens? Oh. What happens? Totally off balance. We have nothing there. No support structures. And it's okay to have some rooms of your house just bigger than others. But stop stuffing self-care in a small drawer in the back of the smallest room in the house. Because that's what we do. What area of your house needs a bigger room? Or what area needs a bigger room? Let's talk about this. Any? No big rooms? We're all good? I know my house is sometimes like, whoo. Fun and enjoyment. Who could use a little more fun and enjoyment? Who would like that room to be a little bit bigger? And one of those signs of burnout is we stop doing the things that we love doing. We come home, we put on our jammies, we get comfy, and we check out. Which is fine. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes we just need a day to check out. But when we're continuously doing that, that's not great. We're not experiencing fun and enjoyment. There's social structures. What other rooms in the house for you? What was that? Relationships. We can get so focused on work. When we think about building resilience, our support structures and relationships matter. Who we're associating with, what we're talking about, what we're doing matters. That's why our core values are there. What else? One more. Personal finance. And I love that you said that, because we're not supposed to talk about money, right? We're not supposed to talk about money, but it is a big deal. How we're setting ourselves up for success, how we're getting rid of debt, how we're navigating what we're doing. Because money, I don't know about you, but unless you live in the middle of the desert and like you're catching your own squirrels, like we all need money, right? We all need money. No offense to anyone who's living in the desert. We all need money. Personal finance. How can I better align what I'm doing with my money and the decisions I'm making? Because when we're in burnout situations, we do things to get dopamine. Like maybe a little online shopping here or there that gets out of control. We're laughing, right? It's a trip to Target, maybe. It's also things, maybe it's that extra glass of wine at night. Maybe I'm just going to throw $40 instead of $20 into the slot machine. Those quick little hits that make us feel better in the moment but are not adding anything long-term for us. So I love that you brought that up because it matters. Thank you. Last exercise in this section. I want to know on your work-life balance scale, 1 to 10. So we'll start with personal. You're going to do this on yourself. Personal development. I am just here for the okay food and free drinks. I am not doing anything with it, or I am in it. I am personal development queen. Ask me for every podcast, every book. Then to the doing it scale, if it could be a negative number, it would be a negative number. To 10, right after this, I'm doing it. And I want you to and you can just put it down your page. You don't have to write them all down, 1 to 10. Where's it a priority, and what am I doing with it? That's your boss calling, I'll answer it. I'm good with bosses. All right, let's do 15 more seconds. Who's seeing some numbers a little off balance? This whole row is like, yes. What about for you? Who wants to share? What's an area that's really off balance for you? Anyone?
I put a spiritual awareness.
It,
I have it at a 10, but
the priority is 10 for my spiritual awareness. This could be religion. This could be meditation. It's whatever it is. It could be sitting in a park looking at butterflies, whatever that is for you. And so, but doing it is a 3, but it's a priority. We're not even doing it. Thank you for sharing. Who else? Who else is off kilter? Over here. Oh, I got two back to back. Oh, okay. All right. Back first and then you. Personal finance.
Really high priority, but doing it, I'm like
Not doing it.
one.
Yeah.
Like especially like student loans they feel coming up right now.
Oh, yeah. Personal finance.
We know they start, but we want to do anything about it. Not really.
I know. And money is one of those things that we're supposed to know and like have it all figured out, but we don't. And we're not supposed to talk about it and do, and we often ignore it because like, I don't want to see what the balance is. I don't even want to know, right? Because I have to like do something with that information, and it feels like an indictment upon myself. And instead of looking at it as an opportunity and shifting a belief system about money and finances and what's possible for you. Love that. What else?
Social relationships.
Social relationships. Your priority.
My priority was like a 7 to 8, and like doing it is like a 1.
Not even doing it.
Not even doing it. By the time I get home from work, I put my jammies on, and if somebody's like, "Hey, come over for dinner," I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah. That's going to be the title of my next presentation. By the time I get home from work, like I'm going to put my jammies on. It's true. Because that's the first, like those are the things that go. The self-care, the social relationships, the things, because they're our friends and they'll understand and they're going to keep calling. And so, but those things over time, wonderful. What else? Who else is off kilter? Let's hear over here. Yes. It's a 3 or 4. And is fun and enjoyment, is there a core value around fun and enjoyment or anything there for you? Being an uplifting. It's not, the irony is crazy, right? Like, I know if I did things that are fun and enjoyment, I would feel the fun and enjoyment, but like, I can't even do those things. The irony is there. The dissonance is what happens, knowing that if I did it, I would feel better, but I can't even feel like doing it, but it's something fun, so I feel like I would need to do it. I would like to do it. I should do it. Should is could with shame attached. Just remember that. What else? In the back.
Personal finance, I put like 8 and I have 1.
It's a 1. Again, the personal finance. I think a lot of people in here can relate. A lot of people can relate because it's one of those things we just don't talk about. We don't, but it needs to be more important. I really need to focus. I need to do the thing. Thank you. Let's do one more. One more. Here. Health and aging. Who here has a doctor's appointment they've been meaning to make for a few months? Anybody? We're going to take 5 minutes right now. Everyone's going to make their doctor. Isn't it so true? You do everything for everybody else that I'm not even taking care of me. I don't even do the things that I need to do. Yes, health and aging. I saw a few more hands. Let's just take one more. One more. Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes, I love it. Oh, my overthinker. I love myself an overthinker. She said her personal relationships, but her friends have all moved away. So needing to start from scratch. And then it's like, that just seems like so much work and effort. And how do you meet people when you're like not in school anymore? And what's going on? And there is an underlying belief system about what is possible that needs to be shifted. Key takeaways from work-life balance. Boundaries. Boundaries, boundaries. Your time, yourself, you are important. Self-awareness. How many of you have created some self-awareness today? Seeing things a little bit differently. She's like, you and me by the pool later. Cultivate the areas of importance for you, the priorities. When you see it down, you're like, wow, this is off. This isn't quite what I want it to be. How am I making that maybe a 1-degree shift? And use your values as your guide. Let's talk about where the rubber meets the road. Doing something about it. It's all great here in Vegas. It's all fun right now. But statistics say 70% of you are going to do absolutely nothing. Nothing with any of this. And you're laughing, right? I'm talking about we have to make fundamental changes to our belief system. We can't scratch the surface and rainbows and unicorns and you can do it. We got to dig and do the work to make changes in our lives. Because you're fighting against what? Your negotiator. Regular life, things that are happening, and pushing back against the visible and invisible forces that are keeping you doing the same thing over and over again and not seeing the change or the difference that you want. 70% of you. What is lurking underneath for you? Recognizing what is lurking underneath for me. And these belief systems tell us things like, you're not worthy, you're not capable, it's not possible, other people are going to make fun of you for doing it. What if I fail? What if people see me fail? I'm going to get fired. All these things are just lurking underneath the surface that need to come up so that we can start to create new, more powerful beliefs and create accountability to making changes. So how do we create accountability that sticks? Accountability that sticks. I'm going to make it easy. Easy. Here are my magic pink sticky notes for you. When you're building resilience, when you're creating change, always go back to your core values. Core values. 1 degree shifts over time make a massive difference in our lives. 1 degree shifts. And I want you to do it for you. Do it for you. You're worthy. You're deserving, you're capable, do it for you. Thank you very much. We're not quite done yet. There's a survey session, so please survey, if you want to stay connected to me, please take the session survey, tell them what you think. Let them know. And I want this an opportunity because we have some time together and we learn from everybody in the room. We're all students and teachers. I want us to be able to ask some questions. Something's on my mind, not quite sure. What questions do you have? Who's got some questions? Here, green jacket.
So I work in Springfield, Maryland, and I'm a firm believer in deadlines.
Yes.
Kind of a control thing. And I have this one department head who always goes above my head to get past the deadline. It always happens. So it immediately makes me feel torn down.
Yes.
When I'm trying to make a change into the way things have to work in order to make things more efficient.
Yep.
So any advice on that would be great.
Yeah. So your trigger is power and control, right? My power and control is being usurped by someone who's going around me to miss deadlines and do other things. Has that ever happened to anybody? Right? So how do I navigate that? Have you ever talked to the person?
Yes.
And they've I'm not doing it.
They've been here for 40 years.
All right.
They've been doing it the same.
So this could be, and this is up to you, it should be just control what you can control. I have my process, I have my protocol, and I relinquish what I have no control over and not allowing it to affect any sort of working relationship and realizing it's not saying anything about me. It has nothing to do with you, their disrespect for you, anything. It has nothing to do with me, right? This is just maybe I need to let it go. Or maybe there's a bigger conversation that needs to be had so that the people above you are understanding why you put these processes and procedures in place to create efficiency, and you would like it if they did the thing to help support your efforts. So very good. Right here.
Can you touch on the power of perception and also projection? So a lot of times when you do set a boundary, there is that fear of how am I perceived, what is this person going to think of me? But a lot of times what people are thinking of you or telling you how you are is kind of based on their own perception.
Yes.
They can be projecting what they think about themselves onto you.
100%. People project on what's going on with them, their insecurity, their self-doubt, their fear, their worries. They project it onto you, right? Because it's easier if you have it than I having to own that thing. perception, but if you're coming from a place, a giving place, a kind place, a respectful place, and you're doing that in the fullness of who you are, what they think has less to say about you and more to say about them. And recognizing that. So yes, I love that, perception versus projection. What else? What other question? What else is on our mind? All right. I'm going to be here for a few minutes. Thank you again so much. Enjoy the rest of your time, and I look forward to connecting with all of you. Yeah. Hi. Nice to
How are
meet you.
you?
I'm well. How are you?
What did you do in here?
What happened?
You sold out the room.
Twice. It's good.
You had like people banging at the doors to get in.
That's awesome.
It is
good
awesome.
for you. That's good for you. It's
good for
your
you.
reflection on the work. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys hiring me.
Yeah, and you're
Kind of like sight unseen.
I know. It was amazing.
God.
A
I'm glad
local
you're
even.
happy. A local. Is there any feedback or anything that you would like to share or
You're
opportunity?
You're crushed it.
Thank
You're like
you.
the Rolling Stones of speakers. But younger. That joke's getting old.
No, I love it.
I was going to ask you, we were wondering, we literally had probably 100 people come to the door
Yeah.
for both sessions. Would you be open to possibly doing it again?
Yeah, when did you want to have it done?
Like